Hello everyone. Quick announcement before we get into the reading. I just wanted to let everyone know that I have started two things. One is my Patreon site where I will be uploading all of the extended portions of the videos, the in-depth look of the videos and readings, sometimes when I do the clarifying cards, and I put a bit of extra material. All of that is now going to be over on Patreon, as well as I've finally been able to start my tarot and oracle deck unboxing and review series. And I'm going to be starting to unbox various tarot decks, review them in depth with you, and each month these decks will be given away in a monthly member giveaway. So in order to be eligible for the giveaway, you just have to join my Patreon site, and the cost of being a patron over there, I just ask for $1 a month, and that's it. There's one tier, one amount to join, and it's just a way, just simply a way for me to be able to facilitate these reviews and to be able to give out these beautiful decks. The more people join, the more patrons I have, the more decks I will review each month, and the more decks I will give away. So for those of you who want to see the unboxing, go straight to the link. I'll include the link here and in the description box, and you'll find out more information about the series and my Patreon site there. Or you can go directly to my Patreon site and see the extended unboxing and review video there. All right, guys, thank you so much. And without further ado, straight to the reading. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot, and we're back at it with the monthly love reading for the signs. All right, so I'm gonna kick it right off with the sign of Aries for the month of August. This is gonna be a full-on love reading about relationships, love you have, want to keep, love you want to get. Relationships you may be trying to get out of, whatever the case may be, whatever the message is. For you Aries who are tuning into this video, I hope it does resonate. My subscribers and regulars, welcome back. I always love it when you come back to visit my videos, to watch my installments. I enjoy your feedback. Cross watchers, I love your feedback as well. I will be uploading these videos in chunks from now on, because I'm realizing that only doing a few at a time can be quite frustrating if you are a cross watcher. So I'll be probably going to be uploading at least in blocks of 4, if not 6 videos all at once. All right, so if this video is up, there should be at least several other signs up along with it. And yeah, without further ado, you know the drill. We're going to pull out 2 Romance Angel Oracle cards and find out what the 2 energies are for you and your person this month. This card just popped out. Pay attention to red flags. All right, we're going to keep that one. We're still going to pull out 2 more. All right, Aries, your first card out is it's safe. It is safe for you to love. Interesting. And you have engagement. All right, so pay attention to red flags, but you also have it is safe for you to love and engagement. All right, so it's quite interesting that that's come out like that. We won't know. If you're a regular here, you know that we won't really know what the true message is until we get into the cards. And I never like to speculate because the scenarios are so different, and oftentimes when we get into the cards and then explore what the romance angels were talking about, it's, you know, it's not something that you could have necessarily picked up right here and now, right? We just don't have enough information. We need more. So let's see what your spread says. Got death falling out. I'm not taking that. Show me what's going on with my beautiful Aries for August 2019 in love. Show me. right, we're going to get right into your 9-card spread. Out the gate, we have 5 of Pentacles. All right, so that's a power struggle, isn't it? We have High Priestess, Knight of Wands coming in, 7 of Swords, the Lovers at the center. Wow, you've been having some interesting readings for the last few months, Aries, honestly. Queen of Pentacles, one of my favorite queens. 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Pentacles. We have 8 of Cups. All right, second 8 in a row. Interesting. And then we have Knight of Pentacles. A lot of issues to do with money. Bottom of the deck, we have 9 of Swords. All right, so 9 of Swords, there's a general air of worrying, right? Anxiety. Frustrations. Nine of Swords talks about the type of anxiety that we get at night as a result of our own kind of guilty feelings, worries. It's not necessarily rooted in any factual or event, right? Or any reality, right? It doesn't necessarily mean everything is going bad around you, but you worry about it. You have anxiety about it. And a lot of times the 9 of Swords has to do with unresolved issues in the past where you still have some associated guilt. You haven't forgiven yourself, or you haven't worked through that guilt. And so now in the present moment, you start to get anxiety, you start to worry about things happening. And a lot of that comes from residual guilt that you haven't worked through, right? And so that's why sometimes it's not based in reality. It's just based on your feelings about yourself, right? Because 9 is the number for self-realization. Remember, 9 is the Hermit card. So all of the 9s in this suit have inherent in them an exercise in self-realization, right? How we relate to ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, right? And so here it's very much like, this feeling of guilt. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a feeling of shame, right? Worrying about getting a payback for something you've done in the past. A lot of times these are unnecessary feelings, but this is a energy that's kind of pervasive this month. But we're going to get right into your reading. We have 5 of Pentacles. So we all know the 5 of Pentacles. 5 is a power struggle, right? And 5 of Pentacles is when a power struggle has happened and you've come out the worst for it, right? You've come out of it having to pay the financial price, right? And there is struggle associated with it. Oftentimes 5 of Pentacles can come out when you have gone through a divorce or a separation, when you break up with a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a partner. Oftentimes somebody has to move out, right? And all of a sudden there's a financial burden associated with the split. You start to argue over who owns what, all of that kind of thing that's associated with the material world and having to pay for it in a material way. But it ultimately comes from a power struggle between 2 people, right? And it's really it's a difficult process, it's a difficult time. I think we've all gone through a process like that in our lives, and I think we all have to go through a time like that in our lives. But it is very difficult, and I think that this is either just happening, right? Or it's just most recently happened. So it's very, very recent or just about to come. Could be that, for instance, you may be living with a roommate and you and your roommate aren't getting along. This doesn't necessarily have to be a love relationship. This could just be something that you're going through right now. You could be we're going to get into the rest of it, but to see exactly who this might be. But there is a prior struggle with someone. We'll see. And next card is High Priestess. So let's talk about her. She's number 2 in the major arcana. Beautiful card. High Priestess is the highest card in the deck for self-esteem and self-confidence. Because oftentimes intuition is misunderstood. People think that intuition is about hearing voices or seeing things or seeing R's. Yes, some people do have those skills and talents. I don't necessarily deny that, but that's not what intuition is about. Intuition is simply listening to your inner voice. And your inner voice can be very quiet. It's a knowingness that you have inside of yourself. It's that little inner dialogue you have inside of yourself, right? And when you trust that inner voice, right, when you trust it implicitly, without doubt or without arguing, without second guessing yourself, then you are fully engaging High Priestess energy. Because she doesn't, the High Priestess is so powerful and so intuitive and so wise, but the only reason she's so powerful and intuitive and wise is because she completely trusts her inner voice. And so she constantly gets reaffirmations that her inner voice was right. And so this kind of, I want to say this volley back and forth, right, that happens. It's like a reverberation, right? It's an echoing back and forth. She listens to her inner voice without any doubt or hesitation, and then the world around her reaffirms that she was right. And so her self-confidence just explodes. And through that, she knows she's right. She understands things. She knows wisdom. Having wisdom is knowing that you're right about something. Because you're wise, because you've been through that process, and because you know based on everything that you've been given and all of your knowledge and experience, right? Based on your knowledge and your experience, and based on the trust in your experience, which is all part of that inner voice, that intuition. You listen to yourself completely. You trust yourself completely. And so the more you do it, you end up walking through life almost in a very magical, blessed way, just always knowing what's going to happen, always having a sense of control, understanding, seeing the past, the present, and the future almost as equals, and really being able to walk through that. High Priestess, when you're in your High Priestess, it's really beautiful energy to have, because life is just lived on a completely different level. And the reaffirmations you get on a daily basis from listening to your inner voice is the best medicine that you can ever have for self-confidence. But most people are just too afraid to listen to that inner voice. They're just too doubtful, or they don't even realize it, but they start to have this argument or this dialogue. You know, oftentimes when I do readings with individuals, they have this set, everyone has this, a set of behaviors in which you are so used to it, you don't even realize you're doing it yourself. And oftentimes it's a lashing back at change, or arguing when you're being asked to kind of broaden your thinking, right? It's a knee-jerk reaction to suddenly go someplace that's very safe. Right? To suddenly have excuses for why you don't need to do that exercise, etc. Right? And this is all kind of really safe behavior. This is what I'm talking about when you're not able to listen to your inner voice. You have these sets of behaviors. The High Priestess is free of that. And so right now you're being called to really use your intuition, your inner voice. Follow your inner voice. In this scenario, right? Because it could be that your head is kind of working overtime, certainly with this Nine of Swords here, this worrying, and then this possible recent or coming up financial distress. It's time for you to really, really have this confidence and listen to your inner voice, because your voice will guide you. Knight of Wands is coming in, so there's like a lot of some inspiration is coming in. This could be a friend or a relative or somebody you really know closely, somebody you're very fond of. It is fire energy, and it's coming into you, right? This is someone coming into you, someone kind of almost like in a way coming to save the day. It could be certainly someone coming in to help you with this Five of Pentacles scenario, right? Coming in to help with an idea or an inspiration. It could be that suddenly you're finding yourself having to move or something like that, right? But Knight of Wands is certainly someone who's very ambitious. He's very enthusiastic, right? He's the one who's going to come in and he's going to support your idea, right? He's the friend who's going to go out drinking with you and hash it out, right? He's going to say, all right, or girl, boy, doesn't matter. It's not, my readings are not gender specific. They're about energies. This person has a very domineering or masculine energy about them anyway. They're very fiery. They have great sense of communication. They have a great sense of self-esteem and confidence as well. And they understand the nature of creativity and allowing yourself to just be free. So this person is the type of person that you're going to be able to talk to about what's going on here, and they'll be able to come up help you come up with a creative idea out of it. They may even bring with them an opportunity or an idea or a project for you to work on, some offer perhaps of some kind of creative endeavor or work endeavor, right? That may help you also get out of this kind of like situation that's happening here that like I say, it's recent. It may just be happening as well in this month of August. It may be coming to a head. You have 7 of Swords here in the reading, and 7 of Swords is my thief in the night, right? 7 is the number for dreams and wishes, and this person, he's the one who takes your dreams and wishes, isn't he? He's the one who takes his dreams and wishes without putting any work in it, right? So this card is I always mention the story of the tortoise and the hare. So this is the energy of this card is that energy of that story. The tortoise and the hare of the race. The hare, everybody expects the hare to win because of course the hare is much faster than the tortoise, but the hare is constantly cutting corners. He's constantly taking a nap. He's taking it for granted that he's faster, so he's not working. Then he oversleeps and he has to catch up at the last minute. And all of these things that he does to cut corners, right, to kind of make away with the bounty or make away with the win at the easiest possible amount of work, with the least amount of work, I guess you would say, right? But it doesn't work. It's futile, right? So 7 of Swords is the card for futility as well, because it just doesn't work. And ultimately the tortoise is the one who wins because the tortoise is steady. Although he may be slow, he's methodical and he's steady and just continues to plod forward to the finish line. And so the 7 of Swords is a warning not to be too hasty. It's a warning not to cut corners. It can also be sometimes a sign of energy that's coming into you. So it could be that somebody is trying to take your opportunities away from you, or trying to throw a monkey wrench in your opportunities, right? Make it more difficult for you to reach your goals. But I think really more than anything, this is right here in this case, this is an admonishment not to be too hasty right now, right? You may be in a very strange scenario, right, with this 5 of Pentacles. And this is a love reading. So at the center, we do have the Lovers. So it's interesting that Lovers is at the heart of this. But right now, you're kind of dealing with this financial situation, right? And you're kind of dealing with the fallout of this 7 of Swords, this feeling that you have to rush to accomplish something, right? Or you have to cut corners, right? I feel like you're in a very, I almost feel like you're just in a really tight spot right now, Aries. I feel like you're just having a moment right now where you're just not sure which way you want to go. You're coming out of like such a difficult period, maybe a financial period, or like I said, a period with friends, or somebody may have been helping you. You may have recently, what I want to say is like maybe you broke up with somebody in this last year, right? And then you were staying with friends or something, and something happened with that dynamic, and now you're kind of having to find a place to live, or you're having to move very quickly, right? And so it's a trying situation, right? And so you then want to cut corners, right? You then want to kind of like do the quick thing, or maybe get the quick hustle for the quick money to come in or something, or whatever the case may be, or take up a residence somewhere where it's really not right, but you're kind of being, you're not taking your time, because in a way you may be getting panicked from the situation as well, right? And so this is an admonishment, no matter how worried or anxiety ridden you are with this 9 of Swords, right? Because I do feel you have a lot of anxiety. Take your time. Please don't cut corners, because if you cut corners, you're just going to make it worse, right? You're going to make the situation worse. Make use of this friend, right? Whoever this person is, Knight of Wands, I feel like it's a peer. I feel like it's someone who can help you. Ultimately, you have lovers on your mind, right? You have lovers on your mind. There's someone on your mind that is just, and I think right now it's like, it could be that this scenario happened as a result of this person, right? It could be also that this person is the person that you had to fight with and you just can't get them out of your head, right? It could be that you guys broke up or whatever happened, this power struggle with you and your person happened, you know, it left you having to go through this like struggle now, right? This financial kind of burden, like I said, right? And you're kind of like, and again, you're trying to hurry up and fix it. And still you can't stop thinking, you know, about this connection, you know, about this desire to make this connection right and to make it better. Because it is a 6 of the major arcana. And so the 6 is lovers, but 6 is the number for harmony. And so not only is it a desire for love, but it's a desire for harmonious love. So a lot of times the Lover's card can come up when you've had a difficult time with your lover or your mate, when you've been fighting, right? Because it's like the major arcana card for wanting to heal the relationship, wanting to be harmonious, wanting to fix it. Right? Wanting to fix it, wanting to make it, because inherent in the connection is a deep bond, right? And that's deep in the connection, there's a bond because it's the lovers. But it's almost as if, you know, you don't have that harmony, which is the 6, that journeying together of harmony. Now, sometimes you do, right? But in this scenario with the surrounding cards, and the aspects to the other cards and the energies of the other cards, certainly with this romance angel cards, it seems to indicate, you know, that right now, the connection isn't quite where you want it to be. It isn't quite as harmonious as you want it to be. You're certainly in a rush, I think, to get it there. You want to get it there. You almost feel panicked, like you might lose it, I think. Let it slip through your fingers, right? And so again, you have to get into your high priestess to deal with this situation. She's coming out. The high priestess always comes out to show you what you need to do to help you. She comes out especially when she's most needed, because she is a cagey bitch, right? The high priestess is cagey. She doesn't like to move. She's 2. Remember, 12 is the hanged man. So she doesn't like to move. She doesn't like to, you know, she's not the one to run and offer advice. When you look at the high priestess, you can see she's very reposed, quiet, thoughtful, you know, severe almost in some ways. So when she shows up, it's really because she needs to be there. She needs to remind you that you must listen to your inner voice in this situation and not go too much with your head, Aries, because when you go with your head, you're making decisions that are not right. You may be making decisions that aren't going to come out in your favor, right? Or make the best of the situation. Queen of Pentacles is here. So interestingly enough, I wonder if this is the person that you are interested in, that is your lover, that you can't get out of your mind, because the Queen of Pentacles, she's alone in the garden. She's worked very hard for her garden. The Queen of Pentacles is that person who's, you know, really worked from the bottom up and got a certain amount of status all through kind of their own blood, sweat, and tears. Right? She's a very admirable woman. She's one of my favorite queens because she's very nurturing. She's supportive. She's the one who talks to you about your ideas and she believes in them, right? She believes you can make it. She believes that you can run your own business or that you can do it, right? That you're going to make the money. She's the one who's supportive. She may take care of the entire family. Oftentimes she works and she makes the money and ends up paying for it in terms of her own loneliness and alienation, right? Because sometimes the Queen of Pentacles is quite, you know, on her own. She has the King of Pentacles, but she sits alone, and she's so gazed into, you see how she looks at the pentacle as if it's her child, right? She's nurtured her ideas. This is the person who's had a business, right? And he treats the business like their baby. It's their passion, right? And so in that way, what I mean is that oftentimes they pay the price of not having connections in or time or space or emotional or mental space for like tight human connections or relationships, because they've put so much of their heart and soul into their work, their passion, their business, right? Supporting their family perhaps sometimes. And and so this is exactly, I feel like this is the person that you're keeping an eye on. It's like you see this person and you're kind of like, I don't want to say enthralled, but you just have such enormous respect for them, right? Male or female, you just have this enormous respect for them. And your eye, it's like the Lover's card is here, and here she comes, the Queen of Pentacles. It's almost as if like she's the object of your affection, right? This character, right? This nurturing person, successful person, ambitious and successful, yeah, certainly, but also very unconventional. The Queen of Pentacles can be very unconventional the way she achieves her success. So she can be the maverick oftentimes, right? Which only adds to her appeal, right? And certainly would appeal to an Aries energy person. So 8 of Pentacles is in, you have 2 8s. And so 8 is all about boundaries. And here you realize that the discipline of work is helping. Always the discipline of work will help you master a craft. But oftentimes this card will come through, especially when you're going through periods of high stress. Certainly if you're going through financial issues, you're going to put your nose to the grindstone and try to get the work out. The other thing about this card, though, is because 8 is the number for boundaries, restrictions, right? Restrictions that you put in place for yourself, which equals discipline. It's about understanding what you need to become a master at what you do. Oftentimes people misinterpret this card for being bored because the person is creating the same shape over and over. But what they fail to realize is that he's creating something by hand, which means he's a handcrafter. And if you know anything about handcrafting, you understand that in order for a handcrafter, an artist, or like a metalsmith or a jeweler, glass blower, anybody who does things with their hand and makes things with their hand, they have to devote a lot of time and discipline to their craft to master it. And so this person isn't bored at all. This person is in fact being very disciplined and being very restrained and very focused to master their skills. And so when 8 of Pentacles comes in, it just shows your desire to be better at work, to go to work harder, towards that you're understanding the need for discipline. Sometimes it admonishes you for the need for discipline. So if you're not showing enough discipline at work, if you're maybe not giving it your all, the indication here is to put more into your work, put more focus into your work. This energy will help you get through some of the negative energy that you're feeling here, certainly some of this anxiety. Because when you work with a focus and a purpose and an aim, it can clarify the mind, right? You can begin to get clarity. You can begin to think clearer. You can begin to think broader and wider about issues. You begin to see them from all different sides. There's a very physiological thing that happens when you do work like this, where you're focused, doing repetitive work that feels good because you're working on your passion. It's good for your blood pressure. It's good to release toxins and free radicals in your body. There's a whole like physiological shift that happens when you do work like this. So oftentimes a lot of these cards we talk about, this is what you need to be. I certainly in my readings, I try to be as practical, because there's very direct link with practical things that you can do that will elevate and connect you to certain energies. And I don't mean things like just sitting and meditating or holding crystals. Things like work. Putting discipline and focusing at work is an exercise that will help you and get you closer to a place of clarity. It is real life exercise and working towards spiritual consciousness. And it requires effort, and oftentimes it's harder to do, right? Because it requires you to be restrained and disciplined when oftentimes we don't want to be. So many times we do, and I'm not saying this is for you, Aries, I'm just saying this is people in general. Oftentimes we want to cut corners. We want the easy solution. We want to be able to go take a class somewhere, or go do a session of meditation somewhere, and then that's my healing, or that's my step. And what we fail to realize is that there's real work that goes into life and trying to be a better person and get closer to who you are spiritually, to your spiritual divineness. There's real work that has to be put into that. You have to be honest with yourself. Sometimes you have to be restrained. Sometimes you have to work. You have to be disciplined. Sometimes you have to go through very difficult periods. Sometimes you have to go through periods of no money, right? And be strong enough not to resort to doing foul things to get that money, and to find a way creatively to get through that process. All of these things are the things that, if we're conscious at the time we're going through them, is the real stuff of working towards your spiritual evolution. All right. So right now, if you're not working harder, or if you're, for instance, if you're not getting enough hours at your job or in where you're making your money, try to get more hours in, try to get more time in, so that you can focus. 8, again, your second 8 of cups as well. And so now you're also kind of deciding you've had enough of shallow relationships. Right? You've had enough of that as well. And so you're starting to pull away from the type of relationships perhaps in the past that have caused you all of this anxiety. See, I think that some of the things that are happening with this individual, if this is your love interest, right? I believe that some of the kind of discord, because it feels like you're just not together. The Lover's card is here, but you're just not together. Engagement has come up, and I think that's because you want to be engaged with this person. You want to step up the level of engagement, right? But it just feels like something's not quite right, and you need to listen to your inner voice rather than your head. Also, I think that some of your past experiences and relationships in the past has really kind of raised its ugly head in a way to interfere with whatever relationship this is that doesn't seem to be coalescing for you, doesn't seem to be coming together. And I think now, just now, this month, you're starting to realize how much of an effect this has had, and you're going to begin to turn your back on it. You're going to begin to sort of let go of those kind of past relationships and those kind of set of behaviors, right, that you're used to, that you've been kind of conditioned into. A set of behaviors, set of thoughts about relationships and how they will go, and I think that whoever this person is that you've been dealing with has been quite different to the relationships you've been used to, but then you were stuck in that same mode of operating like you were with those relationships, and then when you behaved that way, it just didn't work here. And so now you're realizing that holding on to this old way of behaving, to this old set of ideas about relationships, this lack of standards that you used to have, you've been kind of projecting all of that on this scenario here, and it's what has happened is it's kind of stopped it from getting off the ground. It's kind of stopped it from engaging and coming together. 9 of Pentacles is coming in with an offer. Right? So somebody's coming in with an offer for work, an opportunity, a new opportunity. This could also be a very new opportunity to speak or deal with your Queen of Pentacles. If you are on the outs with this person, if you have stopped communicating, or you guys have really had a lot of disruption to your communication or to kind of your bond. There's been a lot of Mercury retrograde this year that's been going on and just really jacking things up. And so if you are at that space, maybe you did have a falling out and you guys separated, right? You're no longer together for a brief period. This Knight of Pentacles could indicate for you to just start moving towards your person. Start moving towards them. This could be a new opportunity at work, but I think your work situation really is more to do with you disciplining yourself and being more focused. I think that this Knight of Pentacles is really because it's coming off of this Eight of Cups. And now that you have this realization, this Knight of Pentacles is kind of letting you know it's time for you to make this, you know, you need to make the very present, real move towards your person. And be real with them. Offer them something real, right? To bridge this gap, to talk about what's been going on, right? You're going to have to offer them. You're going to have to come to them, right? Because somewhere along the line, I think it was your anxiety, right? Your worries that kind of took over and made you behave in a certain way that you probably shouldn't have, and that maybe you regret. Or maybe you just feel like, you know, you went too far, you know, and a lot of that was like leftover baggage from past interactions. Now you're realizing all that. It's up to you to make it up to this person if you simply can't stop thinking about them. Because I feel like you really do desperately want to make things better with them. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. That is the monthly reading. I'm going to call it. So Aries, if you want, I'm going to continue the reading and go do the deeper clarity, pull deeper cards. We're going to pull cards from the Beautiful Creatures deck, and we're also going to pull a card from the Sacred Rebel deck. But if you want to see that portion of the video, then you can go ahead over to my Patreon site and you can become a patron. It's only at $1 a month. And that's where I'll be putting all the extended portions of these videos. It'll basically be this video along with the extended portions. So I will timestamp it for you. So when you get to that video, you can just go straight to the end of this one and get the extra material. If you don't want to go over there, or you've had enough, you've gotten enough out of this reading, then thank you for coming, and this will be the end of this video. If it resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share. All of that good stuff help me grow my channel. Don't forget to check out my video about my monthly giveaway. This month I'm going to be giving away the Dreams of Gaia Tarot deck. And don't forget to check out my unboxing and review of the deck. It's a beautiful deck, and I'm so excited. I can't wait. And that's up on my YouTube channel and also on my Patreon channel. All right, but for right now, Aries, I'm going to tell you I love you. Bye-bye.